Are you ready to become a better Luna Snow player? If you said yes, you have clicked on the right video, as I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to become a better Luna Snow player. Because as someone who has close to 30 hours on Luna Snow and pushing towards GM and nearly nothing on any other character, I have learned how to play Luna Snow at a high level. So sit back, relax, and hopefully I can help you become a better Luna Snow player. Okay, so we're in practice range right now, and we're just going to go over some of the abilities that Luna does. So the first one I want to talk about is her primary. Her primary just shoots ice shards at the other players.
I put you on ice.
And it does a good bit of damage, but it also heals your team as well. So if I go over here, and I start shooting one of these bots, it will heal them as well. And her primary has little to no fall off at all. So you can shoot it from way back here and still deal a lot of damage, but it's just a lot harder as well. Now I'm going to talk about some of Luna's passives. So one of her passives is the ability for her to skate around very fast. She's very good for movement and getting out of places if needed and getting to places if needed as well. So she's a very quick character. Also, while you're doing this, you are also able to jump a little bit higher than what you normally would, just doing a regular jump. So while you're skating, you can jump higher and get to higher places. Her next passive is actually the ability to kind of heal herself. So what I mean by this is if I jump into this spot right here, and I start taking a little bit of damage, and then I use one of the abilities, I can gain some of that health back. Both of those abilities gain health back, so her freeze and the icicles. This is nice to know because if you're low on health, you can just pop one of those abilities and you can get instant health back. It could be the difference between you winning or losing a fight as well. So now I'm going to talk about some of her cooldown abilities. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Share the Stage. And what this ability is good for is keeping a dive character, which is what you're mainly going to use it for, but if not a dive character, you're going to probably use it on like a DPS of some sort. However, you just place this on any character you want. I gotta wait for this other bot to come back. But basically, you can gain half the healing that you do to another bot back on this bot just from healing this bot right here. So that's why it's good to put on a dive character, because you really won't be seeing dive too much while you're healing. So that's why you want to put it on a dive character whenever you can. The next ability I'm going to talk about is called Ice Arts. So basically what this ability allows you to do is heal while doing damage. So you can actually heal your team and do damage at the same time while using this ability. Here's kind of a preview of what that would look like. So if I activate it, I can heal this bot while dealing damage to the bot behind. This ability is good for whenever everyone's grouped up, and you can just kind of heal and do damage at the same time. I'll show you more what that looks like whenever we get into some replays. The next ability is her Ice Ball. So what this does is it just freezes a player that you hit it on. So if I shoot it at this bot right here, it will freeze them. But, the one catch is that if you shoot the ice ball and then you shoot, it unfreezes them. So you gotta use this in kind of a strategic way. I would say more times than not, you don't want to try and be like Tom Brady and just, you know, shoot it from a mile away and hope that you get a random freeze. I'd use this for more of a defensive strategy. Again, I will show you what that looks like more in some replays, but I'm just going over the abilities right now. And then the last ability of her main kit is actually her ultimate. So it's called Fate of Both Worlds, and what it does is it is basically invincibility. So if I pop it on this bot right here,
I am ready to put
they basically can't die, but you can die in certain ultimates that they use on you. And it also allows the ability to damage boost as well. Again, in just a minute, I'll show you how to use that more effectively, but for now, I'm just going over the abilities. And then Luna also does pair up with Namor and Jeff, and basically what that does is it just gives them a little bit more of like an ice ability for their kit. And then she also pairs up with Iron Fist, and basically they just get this chi-infused ice that you can kind of hit, and then it just kind of sends out like a little shockwave of ice, and it slows them down at the same time while also healing your team. And again, that can only be used whenever Iron Fist is in your game, on your team. So now that we got the basic rundown of Luna, I'm going to now go into more depth detail on how to better use these abilities. So here's the Luna Snow ability guide. These are the steps that I try to follow whenever I play in my games. Make sure you take a screenshot of this because I won't keep this up the whole time and I'm just going to have a video play in the background. So when I actually go into replays and show you my replays of Luna, I will go over and in depth on the replay of how I actually use these abilities in the way that I'm showing you right now. But for now, I'm just going to talk about them. So I'm just going to go down the list here and list them from top to bottom. So the first ability we have is called Ice Arts. This is the ability where Luna turns her fist into ice shards. So for number 1, we have Mass Team Healing. So what I mean by this is when you have multiple people low and you need to do mass healing, you want to activate this ability, aim in the direction of everybody that needs healed, and hopefully everyone's kind of in the same spot so that way you can get mass healing on it, because it'll go through everybody and you'll be able to heal everybody up perfectly. Number 2, we have Team Healing plus Damage. So for this, you want to always be able to find healing while doing damage as well. Of course, healing's always going to come first, but if you can find any value in getting damage, it's going to help your team in the long run. So again, if your team's low, even if it's one person, activate this ability and try to get them the full HP while also doing damage at the same time. And then for number 3, we have Desperate HP. So basically, don't activate this ability unless you are super low and you need HP really bad and you need to win this team fight. Outside of that, I would not try to use this ability for healing. Number 2 on the list, we have Share the Stage, and this is Luna's guard ability. So for number 1, we have Use on a dive character. The reason you want to use this on a dive character is because you will not really see them too much in the backline. Plus, if your dive character is getting HP while you're healing someone else, that means they're practically invincible. Of course, that has a silver lining to it because they can die if they just get focused. But it's always best to have it on a dive character. Number 2, we have Use it on a flying character. And the reason I say use it on a flying character is because it's kind of hard to heal them whenever they're in the air and they're flying around. That is, of course, only if you don't have a dive character in your comp. Number 3, we just have Use it on a DPS. DPS are very valuable in this game. Keeping them alive should be one of your top priorities. Given that they don't have as much health as a tank, it is important to use this ability on them for that reason. And then for number 4, we have it Use it on a diving tank. So I would really only use this if you don't have a good comp for a DPS to have this ability. Or if your tanks are just very aggro or in the backline at all times. A tank good suited for this ability would be Captain America, Hulk, or Venom. But in a last resort scenario, just use it on the best player that you have if nothing fits what I just said. Just try to keep your best player alive at all times. Moving on, we have Absolute Zero, and this is Luna's freeze ability. So for number 1, we have When Getting Dived. When you're getting dived by a Spider-Man or a Magic, I would try to save it for this specific reason. Because if you're able to hit a freeze on them, you're able to run away and get out. Hitting this specific freeze on a dive character could be the difference between life and death. So when you're getting dived, just try to freeze the enemy, and if they're low, maybe get the finish, and if they're not low, just get to your team and try to get the safety. Number 2, we have Save Yourself or a Teammate. So for this, if your teammate is getting dived, try to save them with this ability. Even if you miss, it is okay because you tried to save them. It's better than just letting them die. Or even in the matter of saving yourself. This can relate back to number 1, when you're getting dived. Always just try to save this ability for when you're in danger. Wasting this ult is not the best thing to do. Number 3, we have Alt Cancel. So for alt canceling, this ability is very massive for that. If you are able to cancel an alt, please, please, please do it with this ability. Your teammates will thank you later. Canceling an alt could flip the fight for you guys and make you win the team fight. So anytime you hear a sound cue, try your best to cancel that alt with this ability if you are able to. Not all alts get canceled by this freeze. I'll provide one example. Punisher. Number 4, we have If an enemy is low. So if an enemy is trying to run away, try and freeze them and get the kill. An enemy will most likely be running away when they are low or when the fight is lost. In that case, try to freeze them. Number 5, we have to get out when the fight is lost. If you know the fight is lost, just try to get out of there as fast as you can. There's no point of staggering. Just get back to your team and regroup. If you're getting chased, use this ability to stop the chase. And number 6, this is very, very last resort. But we have Tom Brady for number 6. And some of you might be confused by this. But basically what I'm trying to say is don't try to send a Hail Mary. Because even if you hit the freeze, you're maybe getting a little bit of value, but you're probably not getting much. There are way better ways to use this ability than to just send it away. So last on the list, we have Fate of Both Worlds. And this is Luna's ult. This ultimate might be one of the best in the game. So for number 1, we have pop this ult whenever the team is low and help win the team fight. This is for whenever your team is taking mass damage and you cannot out-heal it. You have to save your team. Use this ult to do that. This is basically an invincibility ult. However, certain ults can kill you and your team in it, so you have to be careful. But that is the number one reason you should pop this ult. Moving on to number 2, we have to engage a fight. So to clarify more on this, I would pop this ability to engage the fight and bring my team with me to help win a team fight over the other team. Or if you need to capture a point and you want to push in and you are struggling to, pop this ult and everybody goes in with you. Yes, it is possible that you get ult countered. However, the chances are not as high as you might think they are. But that would be the second best reason to use this ult. Number 3, we have to hold a point. So you have a decision with this one. A, if it's capture. You need to hold the point till your team gets back. Pop this ult. Hopefully your team can get back to you in time. A second reason would be if you are losing the point and you need to hold it. Pop your ult, stand on the point, wait for your team to get to you. Yes, it might suck wasting your ult for a reason like this. However, it gives a slight chance that you just might win the point over. And if you're doing push where you have to push the cart, and you need to hold the cart to a certain point, pop this ability and hold the cart to that point, wait for your team to get back to you. That's why I say this ult might be the best in the game. So try to use it whenever it's most valuable. And then I have a bonus on there, and that's damage amplification. You can spam between healing and damage boost. However, that might not be the best way to use this ult sometimes. Because even though the ult gives practically invincibility, your team can still possibly die in it. It's happened to me before and it sucks. So find the right times to use the healing and the damage boost. When your team needs a lot of healing, I would keep it on the healing. That's going to be more situational to how you need to use it. But this is my Luna Snow ability guide. I hope these specific steps help guide you to the top and help you in your competitive games. So last thing I want to go over before we hop into some replays is the Luna Snow guide sheet. So I made this guide sheet to help you kind of stay in line whenever you're playing in your games. So starting off, for number 1, we have positioning. Positioning is maybe one of the biggest factors in this game. Good positioning equals winning a lot of team fights. If you don't position yourself well, you will get picked off very easily. You will get to see how I position in my games. I have 2 replays to show you, one of them being one of the first games that I played, and the second one being one of the games that I played recently in a diamond lobby. So for dive teams, you don't want to play too far back, but you also don't want to play too close to a point where you'll get picked off. You're going to have to find a silver lining in each game to a point where your team can help you if you're getting dived. You also don't want to be too close because you don't want to get picked off too easily. Each game will be different for how you position with this, depending on what dive characters they use. You are just going to have to find that line on where you're safe to a point where a dive character won't get you very easily and where your team can help you if you're in danger. And for non-dive teams, we have play at a safe range but not too far back. The reason I say play not too far back is because you want to be able to heal your teams at all times, and if you're very far back, it's harder to hit shots. And again, as a support player, your main objective should be keeping your team alive. But if they're not playing any dive characters, you're at a more safer advantage, because you don't have to worry about getting picked off in the backline. Number 2, we have healing. This is pretty self-explanatory. Your team comes first. Always try to keep that logic in the back of your head. As a support player, your team will always come first. If you can't keep your team alive, then the fight is lost. So just remember to always keep your team alive first, and then after, if you can, do damage. And use Ice Art's ability to get mass healing while doing damage at the same time. Again, this might be one of Luna's best abilities in the game. To be able to do mass healing while also being able to do damage is a big advantage of Luna's kit. Take advantage of it. For number 3, we have damage. Only when your team is fully healed, enemy team is low, or you get dived and have to resort to it. I have no problem with you going DPS if your team is fully healed. Or if an enemy's low and you need to get the kill, I don't mind you going for that damage either. But you just have to keep in mind that your team needs to stay alive first. Last resort for damage would be as if you're getting dived. I'm not saying just let the dive character kill you. You need to take care of business with that first. That's why I like Luna's freeze ability. Because if you're getting dived, you can just freeze the enemy and get back to your team to a safer spot. But that's only if last resort and you have to do that. I just want to mention also that damage as a support equals value. You are technically not a damage character. However, Luna does deal a lot of damage. If you can find a way to get damage as a support character, you're already giving your team an advantage. But again, I keep saying this, make sure your team is fully healed first, or try to get them as high as you can. And number 4, this is an obvious one, be aware of your surroundings. Try not to tunnel vision. You need to watch for flankers and players taking off angles. And if you can, ask your team for help. If you're in danger and you keep getting picked off, you need to let your team know that you need help. Don't let it keep happening. If your team fails to help you, that's their fault, not yours. And know when a fight is won or lost. Don't stagger. Staggering will be one of your biggest downfalls in this game. Always try to go in when it's a 6v6. Don't try to do a 4v6 or a 5v6 or a 3v6. It will not end in your favor, most likely. There are, however, times that you might get lucky. The only time I will say not to do that is if you are losing a point and you need to touch. Other than that, just be aware of what you're doing. The more awareness you have, the better off you'll be. It will ultimately help you win more games. So we're going to watch one of the first games I played as Luna here. And I'm going to go over what I did wrong or what I did right. Again, this is when I was first starting to play the game, so I don't know what I was really doing. So this will help you see how I started out playing Luna as well. And then over time, I was able to fix my mistakes to better help me win games. So with that, let's start and watch the clip. Our one player also didn't join in right away because there's a little bit of a problem with that. Where they'll load at just 99% the entire time. Until like halfway through the game.
Our enemies are near. That's better.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Okay, first thing I've noticed, I put the guard on my tank. And I just got dove by a Captain America and did not try to freeze him. My teammates portaling. Try to do damage, get dove by a Captain America. That was a terrible, terrible push for me. Try to get out. And luckily I do get out, actually. I haven't watched this at all since this game happened, so this is all going to be kind of new to me as well. Okay, we're just staggering is one of the biggest things. Like, we're not pushing it as a group, and then I get absolutely obliterated by a group.
It's the halfway point.
So our teammate finally just joined in, by the way. That's the cloak.
Be your best self.
And now I'm guarding the cloak and dagger. Right now, in all honesty, I should probably be guarding the Hela. That's not a bad usage of that. Get healing and do damage at the same time, like I said, so I'm not mad with that one. Captain America diving me. I'm not using my freeze. I will say, whenever I first started playing, I didn't use my freeze nearly at all. You want to use it, but you want to save it for key moments like that to use it. You don't want to just not use it at all. Alright, so let's see if we can clean up some of those mistakes that I made, because we were really staggered a lot, and I wasn't using my freeze at all. Or just my abilities in general. So there I go, jumping out into the team, which is not the greatest decision, but it doesn't really affect anything. My cloak is getting dove by the Captain America here. It's a good job for me to go up here and help him out. Groot is now on me. What I shouldn't do is go in front of the Groot. I wouldn't use that ability for damage like I just did right there. Your primary is going to do a lot more damage in the long run than that will. Positioning isn't too bad right here. Now I have to move because of the Groot walls. Positioning could be cleaned up a little bit from my first games. Okay, so let's talk about this right here. All right, so I just want to point something out here. Again, I have my guard on the Strange. Honestly, if I'm gonna put it on a tank, the better tank to put it on is actually the Thor. Quick, you'll see my two tanks actually decide to go in and push while everyone else just kind of sits back. So I'm just kind of skating around just in La La Land. While my Thor and Strange are up there fighting. This is a quick look at what they're looking at right now.
Good medicine.
So they're able to retreat and get back, but maybe I could be up there kind of helping them out. And not just skating around doing nothing. So that's where the be aware comes in at. You have to just be aware of what's going on. You can't just focus in on whatever you want to do. You have to focus on what your team's doing. Anyhow, back to me. We're going to watch some more gameplay here. So I grab the bubble, start skating around, being fast. The Groot's over on the left side. What I don't want to do is go over to the left side like this.
Disappear!
What I should be doing is I should be healing our... Yeah, I should be healing the Black Widow on the right there. Helping out. So just watch this really quickly on the right side here. So you'll see I'm so tunnel visioned on what's going on in front of me that I don't see the critical Black Widow getting chased by a Captain America right here. So this is where help your teammate can come into play. What I could do here is I could use my freeze ability, quickly freeze the Captain America, and then heal the Black Widow. So you get two birds in one stone. You get to save your teammate while also keeping your whole team alive, so that way you're not very staggered. Because if you look in front of me, everybody is at a health that is, you know, not critical. But if you look at this Black Widow, all it takes is one punch from this Captain America and she dies. And that's exactly what happens because I don't look at her. Because I'm just so tunnel visioned in. And whenever you first start playing the game, you might be this way as well. That's the exact reason I'm showing this replay of whenever I first started, because I want to show that it takes time to learn the grounds of each character and get good with them to a point where you feel comfortable being able to save everybody on your team. And as a support player, that is your main role. Your team comes first, because without your team, you really can't do too much. But yeah, in this scenario, what I should have done is I should have froze the Captain America, healed my Black Widow, and then I should have, you know, repositioned myself to a better position and then start healing my team again. That would be the best play. But instead, I don't even know actually if I've used my freeze one time this whole game. Because whenever I first started out, I completely forgot that it was an ability. Anyhow, enough talking about that. Let's get back to the clip. So it's kind of unlucky there that the Moon Knight ulted the Thor there, so I really couldn't keep him alive anyhow. So in my opinion, this team fight is just lost regardless, just because of that Moon Knight ult. But you see how you can just play a little bit differently. And if that Moon Knight doesn't ult, just think about it. We could indeed be winning this fight, but if I have to imagine, we probably end up losing this exact fight. So let's talk about this. So on the right side, we have Captain America and Moon Knight pushing on my Jeff. I have a Doctor Strange in the middle here. What is our best option right here? Is it to go to the left side like I just did? Or is it to get out and just regroup? Because there's two ways you can look at this. A, we have the point, and do we want to keep, you know, just getting slight more progress? Or B, do we just want to get out of there, regroup, and, you know, push in with a full team instead of getting staggered and wasting more time? I'm going to play this out and watch what happens. I'm assuming I die here to the Moon Knight in the next, you know, 2 seconds, but we're just going to watch. Okay, that's exactly what happens. So, best option here is, it is now a 5v2. I die, it's now a 5v1. Best option there is just get out. Just to get out. We were already down 2 with the Moon Knight ult, and the me not healing the Black Widow or saving her. So the best play there would just to be aware, get out, and regroup. I do also want to mention that it's not bad to hold the point there, because we are going to respawn. So there's definitely different ways you can look at it. We held it for an extra maybe, you know, 3 to 5%. I'm just saying, in most case scenarios, you just want to get out of there, because you just don't want to end up staggering and wasting more time.
That topped me off. Thanks.
So number one thing that I've noticed again is I'm not guarding anybody. At the beginning, you might forget to guard, because I definitely did, and I forgot to use my freeze ability too. Just keep in mind, always, 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 no matter who it is, have your guard on at least somebody. If it's not on somebody, then it's not even having any value to your team. So there was the first freeze we used, and it got shielded by the invisible woman.
Thanks so much. It's okay. Admit it. You need me.
Good medicine.
So it's only the Captain America here. My positioning's good. All we need to do is get the cap off point.
Please, we're hurt.
It's taking my team a while to do that.
Over here.
Let Moon Knight protect his oxen.
Hey, I used my freeze again, so that's already a good start.
I unleash the Shanty's power.
I am ready to put on a show.
See that? That's a good time to ult right there, actually. That's a perfect ult. I saved 2 of my players just from using that ult right there.
We'll defend.
So that would go under category number 1 that I stated, whenever you're using your ult, which is to, when your team's low and they need health. And you can't out-heal what damage they might be taking. That's just a good example of the prime number 1 reason on why you'd want to use this ult. Because even though I didn't save it for a big 6v6 moment, I was still able to save 2 of my teammates, and then we were able to win the fight over. Because if I don't save those 2 teammates and the group kills them, you don't know how the rest of this fight might play out. So that would be a great, great example on how to use this ult.
I don't have to be center stage.
Good free shot right there. I'm kidding, by the way.
A nice deep freeze. It's one of Moon Knight's ults.
The moon haunts you.
I almost ran right into the Moon Knight ult right there. Again, the second round, there's definitely some things to clean up, but you know, we're making progress as we play. So I actually do remember this exact round because it is one of my TikTok clips, but I already guarantee you there's some stuff to clean up because I don't remember the whole round, but I just remember the end of it, or like midway through. So
It's black.
again, don't have my guard on anybody.
That one hurts.
There, I put it on my Strange, so at least it's on somebody.
Worried. Be strong together.
I don't heal the Jeff at all. I'm pretty sure I was trying to. I think my aim was just that bad at the start.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Yeah, my positioning was just terrible there. There's no other way to put that.
Be strong together.
I am strength.
So my Black Widow makes the same mistake I do, which is go to the left side. They are currently getting chased down by a Captain America. The chances of them winning that fight are probably 0 to none. Now again, I don't know what happened in between what I did and what's going on back there. Maybe they got forced to go that way, but you shouldn't be running away from your team. And that's one of the big mistakes that I've made at the start, is if you run away from your team, your team can't help you. And that's also where positioning comes into play. Because if the other team's playing a dive character like they are, if you play too far back and you start to run away from your team can't help you. So that's where you need to find that line of where can I play where I'm safe, but where can I also play where I'm not going to get picked off. And that's something that you're going to have to find out between each game, because every game's going to be different. But yeah, just watch the rest of this clip and watch where I go compared to where my team goes.
I'm hurt.
So my whole team's in the middle right there. Every single one of them is in the middle. The Black Widow dies and the Captain America goes in the middle. I go to left side here. Guess what this Bucky's thinking right now? This is a free kill. That's what this Bucky should be thinking. This is a free kill. Then I try to 1v1 the Bucky. I do almost kill him, luckily. But even if I would have killed him, Captain America's right there. So what I should have done is known that I had 2 players dead already. What I should have done is I should have just fallen back. I should have let my team know as well. Hey, we're down some players. We need to get out of here. We need to regroup. This team fight's lost. And then just start heading back. Already off the rip, that was a terrible team fight.
I'm opening a portal.
Mind the exploding plasma! Every little bit helps.
A shortcut through space. Assemble! I unleash the Vishanti's power. A maelstrom. I am barely wounded.
So I think staying up top there was actually probably the better play, because if I fall down there, I'm probably in a lot of danger. So the best play was just to stay up there, because you saw the rocket tried to actually come up and get me, but they have to come to me then. You know, so I don't think that's actually a terrible play, staying up there and trying to heal. However, my Strange goes down there and dies. So that's a hard one, because if I go down there, I die as well. So what I should do now is I should just go with the Thor and fall back, and we just need to regroup as a full team, because we staggered in again. Only 4 of us went through that portal. You can see down whenever we all started first playing the game that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. You just need to learn how to fix your mistakes, and then also better use your abilities to better win team fights, or just win fights in general. But you can see in this specific game, I am all over the place. And whenever you're starting out, that's going to be, you know, typical. But after you play a few games, you're going to learn very quickly on how to position yourself better in each game. And again, that's why I'm specifically showing you this game that I played, because this was one of my first games I've ever played. And after this, we're going to watch one of my more recent gameplays in a comp game and see how I've improved. But let's continue on with this replay.
Be strong together. Disappear!
See, I already don't like fighting this already. 1, because they have 6 players, and 2, because we have 4. And they have an invisible woman out there. And my team just rushes in there. You'll see that me and Jeff the Landshark here don't go down there, because if we do, we are 100% going to die.
This is real firepower!
And you'll see exactly what happened. The Thor just died. And our Black Widow died in there too. So I'm not sure exactly what I do here, but what I know I should do, and what Jeff the Landshark should do as well, is we should just back off and get to our team and engage in a more group fight than just staggering and being all over the place.
Do I throw like a girl?
That was a good freeze.
Nobody controls Moon Knight.
See, now I get out of there.
Their
That was
team's
perfect.
capture progress has passed the halfway point. I'm hurt.
I get pushed by the Bucky. And that's exactly what that Bucky should do. He saw that I was way out of position, and he got the kill. And that's why positioning is #1 in this game. If you're not positioned right, that's exactly what will happen to you. So now I'm pushing in all by myself, which is a bad idea, because if the team had really good aim right there, I die. If they all just focus me right there, I'm dead. But luckily, this is so low of a game, or I don't want to say low of a game, but like, the elo of this game is not very high. So, because I was a starter at the game, and the people that I were playing with, they were also kind of new as well. So that's also why I kind of stayed alive there. But I would just say, once you start to get up into higher ranks, you will die if you go push in by yourself, just like I did right there. If they all focus you, there's very low chance that you stay alive there. So just keep that in mind. Be aware.
A nice deep freeze. They've almost got it.
So this is where the big clip comes in, right here. I remember this play perfectly. So I get Groot walled off. There's not too much I can do about that. I'm trying to keep my team alive.
The moon haunts you.
Dr. Strange is gone? How? I am ready to put on a show. We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
So right here goes under the category for alt of to hold a point. You'll see what happens because you'll see my team's dead right now. Everybody's basically dead. My Strange just respawned in because they died to the Moon Knight ult. However, the Black Widow is going to die right here because I remember this. So Black Widow dies. You'll see in the top left corner here, Jeff the Shark has their ult. And this is why I say, if you need to hold a point, you need to use this ult, because you never know what can happen in a game. I'll just let the clip play out, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. You'll see Jeff the Landshark just ate all of them. Their entire team. And keep this in mind as well, you cannot get ate by Jeff the Landshark if you're in your ult ability. So just because I popped that ult right there, gave us the slightest chance that we were able to win that fight. And that's why I say it might suck to use your ult in a way like that, but at the end of the day, desperate times call for desperate measures. And the only reason we were able to capture this point is because I held the point to 99% while my Jeff the Shark came in with their ult and was able to eat the entire team, and then he sends himself off the map and we get the point. So that's a good example for number 3 of hold a point for your ult. I also want to keep this in mind, this entire time I was not shooting the Moon Knight thing because I didn't know what it was at the start of the game. Always make sure you're breaking those things. I just left it there, and so did my team kind of, so I can't blame fully myself, but our Black Widow ends up getting it.
No wonks here.
Just make sure you're always breaking them.
Our adversaries gathering.
Be your best self.
I am barely wounded.
So now we're guarding the Thor, which is a great guard.
I was worried. I need some help.
He ended up dying anyhow.
And dangerous.
That's a great ult by my Strange. The Strange actually saves me right there. So let's just rewind this real quick, and I'm gonna talk about this. So we're gonna start it from right here. So I'm back healing my team. My positioning's actually not too bad right now, but the Groot walls me off. I hear a Bucky ult go off.
Dangerous.
Goes straight for me, which he should be doing. That's a great reason to use his ult, is to go for supports. What should I do in this scenario right here? Should I, number 1, pop the Icicle ability and start shooting him like I do? Or B, should I try to freeze him, get back to my team, and try to help them out? You'll see the Strange actually notices this. And they actually end up helping me using their ult. And that's the only reason I was able to stay alive right there. I'd say if that wasn't the case, I probably died of that Bucky. Try to freeze the Groot there, which isn't too bad of a decision, but I should have tried to freeze the Bucky first. And I'm so tunnel visioned in on what's happening, I don't even notice my Widow's that low. But yeah, the Strange definitely made a good play right there. I don't know why I'm skating around, jumping around everywhere, but I am.
This is real fireball. Good medicine.
This is a great opportunity to be using the Ice Arts ability. Right here, my whole team is right in front of me. Even if you don't directly hit them, I'm pretty sure it has just a little bit of a buffer where you can hit them, you can still hit them without actually hitting them. But this would be a great reason to use this, or not all, the ability, because I'm getting mass value in healing the whole team. So that's a great example right there of why you should be using that ability right there. But I don't think I do.
So cold. I suck.
They will strike, and I suspect it
I activate it now and start using it, but it's already too late.
Jeff, it's the best little so long.
There, I just try to touch the point, and I end up dying for it. And that's what I mean by using that specific ability could be the difference between winning or losing a fight. I don't use it, we lost the fight because of it. Now, I can't fully blame it on me not using that for the reason we lost this fight. However, if I do use it, it gives us a better opportunity to win the fight. But yeah, that's a great example right there of what would happen if you didn't use the ability in the way that I tried to provide to you. And then we end up losing the round because of it. But yeah, that's the end of that replay right there. So here are some key takeaways from me rewatching this replay. Number 1, I didn't use ice arts in key moments to heal my team. Number 2, I was not using my guard ability nearly as much as I should have been. Number 3, I was not using the freeze ability nearly at all until kind of towards the end of the game. And I would say my ult usage at the beginning of this was not too bad, actually. I actually used it in good moments, I think. I helped keep my team alive and hold a point. And both reasons for using it were actually pretty good reasons. So I can't complain too much about my ult usage in this particular game. And the last thing I have is just my positioning in general. I was well out of position well too many times in this game. You saw the Bucky was taking advantage of that every single time I did it. He knew I was just a free kill every single time. And that's why positioning in this game is just one of the biggest things. So that's definitely something you need to clean up if you're going to try and progress in this game. But those are my takeaways from this game. Let's go to the next clip and see if we can improve. So here's one of my other gameplays after playing about 25 hours on Luna. This is me in Plat 1. I think this was actually for my Diamond game. Anyhow, let's watch and see how I've improved since that first game we've watched.
Mission area.
I can feel the current.
So number 1, I've already noticed I have my guard on somebody. I have it on the Storm, but in all reality, I should switch it over to the Psylocke because they are more of a dive. And number 1, for that reason to use the ability, is to put it on a dive character.
And electricity in my veins.
Enemies better beware.
So right there, I actually do put it on the Psylocke.
am strengthened for battle.
So that's just the better character to put it on. Because your Storm's going to be with you more than the Psylocke will.
Arenas of Moon Knight.
Try to help the Storm out there, just couldn't get to them in time.
I like the cold.
See, great reason. That's a great reason to use that ability right there. I was able to provide healing, and I was also able to do damage, which is number 2 for why you should use that ability.
Do I throw like a
And then right there, I actually hit a really good freeze, and I was able to get out, and my team is actually now looking at this Venom and helping me out, because they tried to dive me. And that is the number 1 reason on why you should use this ability, is if you are getting dived, so that way you can save yourself, exactly like I did right there. Anyhow, let's continue on watching.
Those guys are about to shoot at us.
We can't defeat the wind and thunder.
That's better.
So right here, I'm taking a safe angle to be able to get to my Strange now. Because I'm pretty sure collectively as a group, we said to take this angle over here, which was the better option to do. But I took a more safe approach and I went around, and I'm still able to now heal my Strange. They are on critical damage. My first priority right now should be keeping the Strange alive.
My life is in peril. Thank you. The moon falls.
I was worried. Moonlight Clay can touch me so!
Not a bad reason to use that ability right there. Now I'm getting dived by the Venom.
Like a girl.
You see how I didn't sit there and shoot at the Venom after I froze him? I saved myself. I used my freeze on him. I was getting dived. I freeze him. I get to my team and start helping them out. I don't know if my Strange is going to stay alive here. However, I'm giving myself the opportunity to try and save him.
I am ready to put on a show.
I actually ult to save him, so that's a great reason to use the ult right there. I actually like that sequence a lot right there. I like that ability usage. I'm able to get damage on the Venom while healing my team.
That's a good feeling. Friends, gather around.
Okay, so you might be wondering why I just ran backwards like that. So when you get into higher games like this, you're going to notice that a lot of DPS ults are going to be focused on primarily healers. I heard the sound cue for this storm, so I tried to get as far away as possible to try and keep myself alive. You could say, well, you're just taking yourself out of the fight and your team could die. Which you're right, that could happen. Or I could have the storm completely focus me, get no value in her ult, my team stays alive, I stay alive, we keep winning this fight. Given the storm stays alive, it's not a problem because I stay alive too, my team tries to help me, and everybody's still alive, we can still win the fight. So even though I didn't use an ability, I was still aware of what was happening in the game. I was able to keep myself alive while also pulling out a very valuable ult by a DPS. So in my opinion, I think we won the exchange there.
Let Moon Knight
See that?
protect his
Right there.
You'll see I'm also DPSing right now because I know my team's fully healed and I'm not going to get value in shooting my team if they're fully healed.
I suck. Snowball fight. Healing.
So that's actually just a really good awareness play right there. You'll see the Venom tries to ult everybody back here, which actually is not a bad ult. He's getting a lot of value from this ult, but I'm trying to keep my Strange alive, and that's my #1 priority right now, is keeping my Strange alive. You'll see after this Venom ult, 3 of us are on critical damage right now. Actually, no, 3 of us. Just watch what I do right here. I freeze the Venom, so I'm saving myself. I'm also saving the players around us. Unluckily, one of my players does shoot the Venom and he unfreezes. So this is what I resort to next.
Snowball fight.
You'll see whenever I used the freeze ability, I was actually gaining health back. So that's a good thing to be aware of too. But I go for this health pack.
Healing.
And now I'm alive. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one alive on point right now. So I end up dying anyhow. But that's just a good awareness play right there. Even though I die, I gave myself the best opportunity I could to keep myself alive. Also, another thing to be aware about is just health packs in general.
I am strengthened for battle.
I'll patch you up.
Only 60 seconds left. I am ready to put on a show.
Okay, so I let this play out first just to watch what happened. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to analyze what happened.
I need assistance.
You're welcome.
Only 60 seconds left. I am ready to put on a show.
So this would be example number 2 right here on why you should use Luna's ult. This was to engage the fight. Now everybody on my team can play middle of the point without dying. I'm just going to let this play out and let's just watch what happens. There are a lot of ults going on right now.
A nice deep freeze.
Vishanti's power.
I am healed. It's okay. Admit it. You need me. Snowball
And see, for the exact reason that I pushed in with my ult was for the reason that we engaged the fight. I was able to keep my team alive at the same time. And you can see ultimately it ended up working out. So again, there's another great example of number 2 on why you should use Luna's ult. And that would be to engage a fight while keeping your team alive, while also highly guaranteeing that you will win the fight.
Down to 30 seconds.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
So I hear the sound cue. I start to run away because the Storm will insta-kill me if I'm in that. Storm ends up dying for using that ult, but does get a kill.
Let Moon Knight protect his aunts if he dares.
And we end up getting the point because of it.
I'm hurt. We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks. I was worried.
Hey, T!
Better stop that vehicle. I like the cold.
Crushes all.
It's okay. Admit it. You need me.
That is much better.
So here's just going back to the basics. Playing at a safe distance while trying to keep my team alive. Just shooting my primary at them. Just keeping my team first. My team is always going to come first in this game.
Better stop that vehicle.
Team first, damage second.
I suck. There's still a chance to stop.
I'd say that's a good reason to use that ability right there. I'm getting value by hitting their team while also maybe getting some healing done as well.
I am ready to put on a show. Watch me us against the world.
So I used this ult because the Venom ulted, and I wanted to make sure I kept my team alive at all costs. So that's kind of why I used that ult right there. Even though no one was really on critical, I was still able to keep my team alive just because of the Venom ult. And highly guarantee now that we're going to win this fight now that we're up a 6v4.
By the eye of Agamot!
Alright, so I just want to talk about this really quick. I had my freeze ability, and I could have used it with that Strange. And I actually should have used it against that Strange. So that would fall under category number 3 for why to use the freeze ability to ult cancel. So if I go back right here and I rewatch this.
More powerful yet.
Right here. He pops his ult. And you can see I still have my freeze ability.
By the eye of Agamot!
He ends up hitting me. Luckily, my Strange on my team notices this, and he ends up turning around and killing him. But this was a huge ult by this Strange right here, and he could have easily got a pick off if my Strange doesn't turn around right there. But what I should have done is I should have just used my freeze ability, freeze him, get him out of his ult, and cancel it, and then just he dies. But it ended up working out anyhow, so you can't be too mad about that.
Just dying.
Sai, I need you back. Gather around.
Hey, T! Enjoy!
Your powers are mine!
Only 60 seconds left.
That is much better.
I like
So I'm playing at a safe distance while just trying to keep my team alive, using this ability to heal and do damage at the same time. My Strange does unfortunately die there, but I did try to keep him alive. It's just that I was blinded, I couldn't really see him. Venom dies me. That's why you want to save the freeze ability for that. I was able to freeze him, I was able to keep myself alive because of it. Even though I still die, I was able to keep myself alive for just a little bit longer. So now we portal in behind. Again, you'll see my number 1 priority is just my team. I'm not worried about damage right now. I'm worried about just keeping my team alive. I ult this. Reason number 1, help your team. Win the team fight. Use this ult because of that. I completely missed my freeze right there, but that's okay. That's gonna happen a lot whenever you're playing Luna. You're gonna miss your freeze a lot more than what you would like to. So don't get discouraged by that. You will miss your freeze a good bit. Because even now, I still miss my freeze a lot.
The keyholes are more dangerous. There's more than one. Good medicine.
Better stop that vehicle.
You can still see that I have my guard on my side lock at all times.
Only 60 seconds left.
By the eye of Agamotto, the moon haunts you.
Need some help.
We shall
They are
protect
coming
this
from
city.
behind.
You'll see I'm pushing towards my team and I'm not running away from the Venom, because if I go towards my team, they are able to help me. If I'm calling out to my team, hey, there's a Venom in the back line, I need some help, my team's going to turn around and try to help me out. If I'm running away from them, they can't help me out. But if I'm running towards them, they can help me out.
Your powers are mine!
Against the world. It's one of Moon Knight's
Let
arts.
Moon Knight protect his arts if he dares.
A nice deep freeze. Down to 30 seconds. Friends, gather
I
around.
unleash the Vishanti's power!
So here again, I'm just playing at a safe distance where I won't get picked off, but I can also heal my team.
I am strengthened for battle.
It's now or never. Stop them. Be strong together. The final 10 seconds.
So foresaw this.
Don't give them another inch. Or else. Thanks so much. Nice deep freeze.
I hear the storm sound cue.
I am ready.
I put my ult because of the storm. My Namor ends up running away from my ult, which was a bad decision by him, but if he would have stayed with me, he would have stayed alive.
By the eye of Agamotto!
That was just a good finishing fight by them. That was a great strange ult. So Venom goes to dive me. I freeze him. And now he just gets punished for it. That was a very bad play by that Venom, by the way. I don't play much Venom at all. I've actually never played him, but I can just tell that wasn't the smartest thing to do.
You're welcome.
I am healed. I like the cold.
You'll see I brought my attention away from that Venom because I knew my Strange was low. So again, just don't tunnel vision. Be aware. Know when your team's low and when you need to heal and when you need to DPS. As Strange gets back to me, I'm able to heal him up fully. And let's see how the rest of this fight goes. Strange low again, healing him again, while playing at a safe distance behind a corner where nobody can hit me. Venom dives in on my Mantis. Freeze the Venom.
Us against the world.
That's a good Moon Knight ult. Namor uses his ult.
I am ready to put on a show.
So I used my ult here because A, I was getting dove by the Venom, so I wanted to A, save myself, and B, save my team on the point, so that way we could also hold the point as well. It's just kind of unfortunate that their Luna ulted as well. However, their Cloak and Dagger also ulted at the same time. So therefore, they used 2 support ults, while I've only used 1. And you'll see our Mantis at the top right is dead, but they are at 97%. So I'm able to hold this point long enough for at least my Mantis to get close to being able to get back if things don't go right. But yeah, I just wanted to use this ult in the sense that I wanted to save myself and also save my team while also holding the point. Anyhow, let's watch the rest of the play.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
See, I just got comboed right there. I got Groot ulted while also Storm ulted. There's not much I can do about that.
Systems restart. No time to go solo. Do a girl like a girl.
That's a good freeze. And now I'm just being aware. I'm just getting out. Now I'm trying to save my Penny. And I'm able to keep the Penny alive in a dangerous situation.
Thanks so much.
So I'm just going to recap what I did right there. I froze the Venom. I got away. I saved my team. Let's continue on.
Glow up.
How refreshing.
Help get that vehicle to its destination. Will help.
I am strengthened for battle.
I'll patch you up.
I am healed.
Again, I know I sound like a broken record right now, but just playing at a safe distance while keeping my team alive.
Us against the world.
Alright, this is Tom Brady. You might be thinking, why did I use this freeze right here? And the answer is, that's a good question. Because even if I freeze the Venom right there, I'm not getting much value out of it because they're already full HP, everybody's shooting at him, and he's going to be able to get out because his whole team's right there as well. It's not like he dove in at me first and tried to kill me. So in my opinion, that's not a great reason to use that freeze ability right there, because now I have to wait a cooldown to use that ability right there.
I am strengthened.
We should destroy the
Again there, I just get comboed. A lot of us got comboed. That's just a good play by the other team. So I could have ulted for the group, but however, once I heard the Moon Knight ult go off, the Moon Knight ult will kill a Luna in her ult. So just be careful about that. Don't waste your ult on a Moon Knight ult. You will die.
Feel the wrath.
I am ready to put on a show. I am ready to put on a show.
So, I hear the Storm ult go off. I want to save my team, and I also want to hold this point. 3 good reasons to use that ult right there. The Storm ult is now useless because of mine. I'm able to hold the point. I'm able to keep my team alive. In my opinion, that's a great Luna Snow ult right there. Being aware, knowing that Moon Knight's thing's behind. Shooting it so that way he can't use it. Now I'm using this ability to heal and do damage at the same time. That's just a general good sequence right there.
I summon the seas.
These ancient
And we won the team fight because of it.
Get that vehicle moving.
Battle.
Systems discharged. Us against the world.
Someone scratch my back.
So I want to talk about this sequence right here. I'm going to rewind and I'm going to show you what I did wrong.
Enemy in front
Alright,
of
so
us.
everything's going fine right now. You'll see Venom's up top here. I'm just shooting my team, trying to heal.
Systems discharged.
I get dove by this Venom. I make a good choice right here. I freeze the Venom. I keep myself alive. I use this ability to give myself health because I need the health. I try to heal my team, but Venom gets shot out of it. That wasn't me that shot the Venom. One of my teammates shot the Venom. But here's where I make the mistake.
Us against the world.
I'm starting to go backwards now. This is a positioning thing. And see, even in higher lobbies, you're going to experience yourself making mistakes. I'm going back away from my team. You'll see this rocket actually knows what I'm doing. I'm trying to get away, but he knows I'm in danger right now. What I should have done is I should have just pushed out. But you could also see this as another reason. I have now brought their Venom away from the point. And now my team is able to focus them. You might be right on the sense that I've done that. But here's the thing. I've brought now 2 healers, including myself. So I have the rocket now trying to help me out. And I'm trying to kill the Venom. I'm going away from my team. My team can't really help me unless they get out of position too. You'll see their cloak actually came in to help the Venom as well. So now Mantis dies because I'm out of position. Rocket's out of position too. And my Mantis dies because she's the only healer out there. And now the Cloak's just able to kill me because they have their ult. They're just standing in their ult while DPSing. So you can see how running away from your team can actually hurt you more than what you might think. And because of it, they get the point now.
It's okay. Admit it. You need me. What do I do for an encore? Systems restoring.
That's just a good time to DPS right there because everybody's kind of healed up fully, so I'd say that's a perfect opportunity right there to DPS.
Be strong to need assistance. I am ready to put on a show.
Another arc who will rid us of Moon Knight.
Look out behind you. I was worried.
Protect his nice much better.
Us against the world. We're busting our crew. I am ready to put on a show.
So I'm gonna recap this sequence right now. Venom dives in. Venom has his ult. He uses it. Now there's 3 of us on critical HP.
I am ready to put on a show.
I caught my ult to save us.
Another arc who will rid us of Moon Knight.
I was worried.
That is much better.
Us against the world.
So basically, this Venom now gets 0 value out of his ult because I've now ulted to counter him. And that's okay to use your ult in that way sometimes. Because if it means saving your team, which should be your top priority, you should do it because you never know what can happen in these fights. So therefore, it may have not been the best reason to use it. However, it wasn't a terrible reason to use it. I just want you to be aware also that you do get your ult back. Don't be afraid to use your ults.
I am ready to put on a show.
So here I'm just using this ability to keep my whole team alive.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
The Groot's doing a good job at blocking me off. She knows I don't have my ult anymore. And unfortunately I die because of that ult. Even though I'm the only one that she got, it's still a valuable ult for her.
So close. This is your big chance. Down to 30 seconds.
So let's talk about this freeze. Is it the worst time to use this freeze? No. Is it a good time to use this freeze? No. Am I okay if you use this freeze in your games like this? Yes and no. I'm going to explain a little bit. So right here, my Penny and Namor are on the left side, and it's just me and Mantis down here. You'll see I try to freeze the Groot, but I just completely miss. But you see, if I freeze the Groot anyhow, there's really no value I'm getting out of it either, so there's really no reason to use the freeze right there.
Down to 30 seconds. Nice freeze.
What I could have done is I could have saved the freeze for that Groot ult, and then freeze the Groot, so that way he can't deal any damage, and then he just dies. So you see how there's just a little bit more valuable times to use the freeze ability outside of just throwing it. I still end up getting the Groot anyhow. And then Moon Knight kills me with his ult, but I get respawned by the rocket.
It's okay. Admit it. You need me.
And we end up killing their team. So that's just a good job by my team right there.
You know, spiders. Be strong together.
Now they portal on the point.
Stay important. You have to keep fighting.
Reposition myself to better help my team out.
Penny.
You'll see I'm playing for my ult here now. Once I get my ult,
I am ready
I'm
to
gonna
put
pop
on a
it.
show. I am ready to put on a
Now
show.
I'm able to hold the point and also keep my team alive. And then we double ult as well, and we end up killing them all. So there's one of my high plat to diamond gameplays of Luna. So here's my takeaways from this game. First and foremost, my positioning was way better than the first clip I showed you. And over time, you'll be able to help position yourself better for each comp that you go against. It's really hard for me to tell you how to position each game because each game is going to be different on how you need to position. Secondly, I use my ice arts in a way more beneficial manner than I did in the first clip. I used it in times that my team was all together and they all needed healing. I used it to team heal as well while also doing damage. And then there was also one case scenario where I did need instant health and I did use it to get health back. I always had my guard ability on a player at all times. I had it on my dive character whenever there was a dive character. And then whenever we switched off the dive character for defense, I had it on my DPS. Just make sure you always have that ability on someone though. Anytime I was getting dived, I almost instantly resorted to using the freeze and getting out of there. There was a few times where I did a Tom Brady and I just kind of sent it away. Again, try not to use that ability in this sort of way though. There's way more valuable ways to use it than to just chuck it away and waste it. And you saw all three ways of how I used my ult. I used it to help my team when they were low. I used it to help win team fights. I used it once to engage a fight to win the point over. And I also used it to hold the point as well. All those reasons are good reasons to use Luna's ult. Ultimately, I can see a clear difference from this game from my first game. And hopefully me showing you these replays can help you do the same. So there it is, you now have all the knowledge and information you need to become the best Luna Snow player in your games. I'm sorry this video was so long, but I feel like this is very informational. I hope you all learned a lot from watching this video. And I also hope this helps you climbing your ranks. Because Luna Snow is one of the best support players in the game, and being able to play her at a high level is very beneficial. And if you want to see more Luna Snow gameplay, or even more Luna Snow gameplay reviews, feel free to let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe. And feel free to check me out on all my other socials down in the description below. And with that, this is the ultimate Luna Snow guide that you'll need. Thank you for watching, good luck, and happy climbing.